All right, my go-to music growing up would have been, all right, hang with me, Wow worship CDs, because I grew up in a Christian family, so it was mostly Christian music, and then James Taylor. And then when I would come home from school, my parents let me watch CMT, so a whole bunch of country music. Best concert I ever attended, without a doubt, Chris Stapleton last year at Credit One Arena, which I got to play that following year. So that was kind of a dream come true. Best vocalist I've ever heard live in my entire life. Biggest inspiration in the music industry would probably be, yeah, I'm gonna go against the grain and just say it was my local musicians. It was guys in my hometown of Charleston, South Carolina that I looked up to the most, and I wanted to do what they were doing, you know, playing in these small little bars and clubs and writing their own music, and I really modeled my own largely after them. I'm gonna say my bucket list fishing destination as of right now is Alaska, because I was supposed to go on a trip with all my cousins and my siblings. And when I got into music around this year that they all went on this huge trip, I wasn't able to go because I was in music school. And so I've been wanting to redeem that trip for a long time. Most memorable onstage moment was probably, golly, that's such a good question. One was Boston last year. And after singing my song Gratitude, it's like everyone just paused and no one needed to sing. And it was just one of the holiest moments I've ever experienced. And that's one I'll never forget. I would say my most memorable moment, and I can't really say it was like a concert, but I got the opportunity and the honor to sing some of my songs at Charlie Kirk's memorial. And y'all have never experienced anything like that. It was the most revival spirit I've ever felt, and just so much unity in the room, and that'll mark me forever. All right, my favorite tour stop has been Boston. I think I went in expecting people to be a little bit cold, and it was the most lit, crazy night of tour. And we had just had some crazy moments where it was like God himself walked in the room, and everybody was just in awe of what an incredible night we had together. And if I could add one tour stop in the near future, anywhere in Australia. I want to go to Australia pretty bad. How do I transition from being on tour to being at home? A few years ago, I started to learn that if I didn't have tools to transition, that I would go to a very dark place. And coming home from my very first tour, I went to a dark place. And I think it's because I wasn't really surrounding myself with community. And I was really expecting the high of tour to continue. And when I went home, it's like I went into a valley. And honestly, the most healing, the things that have brought about the most healing and like leveling and grounding has been being on the farm and running the tractor and just being outside with my kids surrounded by creation. And that has been what has helped me level out and go from touring to just going back to just normal life. Best thing about home farm life is watching my kids do what they were made to do and run around and be surrounded by creation and animals. And honestly, my favorite thing is 5 o'clock farm walk and taking my wife and us just doing a lap around the farm. And that's where I think real intimacy is bred, and that's where we grow closer. I really hope new listeners who check out my new record, King of Hearts, take away the sense of that they're invited to the table. And whether it's somebody who's been following Christ for a long time, or they're new to faith, or they're just checking it out, I want them to feel like, hey, you're invited, that God sees you, loves you. There's nothing that you could have ever done or that disqualifies you from his grace. And I think that's the message. He's king of a lot of things, but none more important than your heart. I think the thing I'm most excited about for this new tour, King of Hearts, that starts now, is the spiritual temperature in which our nation is in right now. And it feels like people are hungrier than ever for the real thing. And I think the realest thing is God and what we were made for, and that's worship. And that's not just singing, but it's committing our lives to what God wants for us. And so I'm just excited for people to come, yes, be entertained, but to have an encounter with the one that created them and loves them the most. Dream list of future collabs. Luke Holmes, Lainey Wilson, Ernest Hardy, Chris Stapleton has got to be number one. It's got to be number one. It feels so unlikely, but that if all my dreams could come true, Chris Stapleton, hit me up, dog. I love you. If I wasn't a musician, I would either be, if it wasn't a chef, massage therapist, it would be a marine biologist. That was my favorite class in school and the only one I paid attention to. All right, something unique that my fans might not know about me is that in order to do my very first record, I raised money. And after raising about 20 grand and I needed 30, I decided to get creative and I said, if you give me a certain amount of money, I'll tattoo your name on my leg. So I have about 23 last names tattooed on my left thigh. All right, acoustic or electric? God, it's so depends, but I'm gonna go acoustic. Writing late at night or early in the morning. I'm best in the morning, but late night writes are the funnest, so I'm gonna go late night. So I'm writing in my notebook or on my phone. My hand starts to cramp too quickly when I'm writing, so I'm gonna say phone. Mountains or beach? Beach. I gotta be near the water. Sneakers or boots? Boots. It's not even a question. Thanks, y'all. Hook and barrel. Love ya.